All right, gamers, we have a Q&A. I am so ready for this. I haven't done this since I started YouTube. Let's get ready with that cheap content. All right, the first question comes from Puns and Buns, which has the most amazing caster name ever. What is your most memorable casting / hosting gig? Probably sounds super silly, but casting Contenders Korea did the semifinal between Runaway and O2 Blast, and that match was actually insane. If anyone watched it, Kaiser was absolutely popping off. Runaway was like the clear favorite who makes grand finals every single time, and like this, I won't say a random team, but this unexpected team, O2 Blast, to come and completely poop on them was just amazing. The gameplay was amazing. Completely shattering expectations. When we went to break, we all just kind of sat there out of breath and speechless as to how crazy that match was. That semifinal was more exciting to me than the grand final. That's how much it was amazing. A lot of my favorite moments from casting have come from Contenders. I feel like there's so much to gain and so much to lose all at the same time, and there's these storylines. I'm kind of that person who watches more college sports than regular sports, so those are always going to be my favorite moments. Question 2 comes from Phil D, who has 3 different questions. Okay, so first one, what are your 3 desert island animes? So I'm gonna assume desert island means not like the genre of people on an island, but probably if I only had to watch 3 forever. So I'd probably pick animes that have like a ton of episodes, so I can try and make it last this much. So probably My Hero Academia, Naruto because it has a million seasons, and Sword Art Online, also just a humongous storyline. So the ones that last longest, they hopefully keep me entertained while I die on an island. The second question is, if you could pick one Overwatch hero to instantly be great at, what would it be? Oh, that was hard. I was kind of hovering over Widowmaker or Tracer just because those seem like mechanically the hardest, like the ones I will never be able to be good at. And I probably have to say Tracer because I feel like any good Tracer player can just absolutely roll ranked matches, even with the current meta at the moment. And his third question was, what do I miss about Canada? So that's easy. Cheese Whiz is number 1 because apparently America doesn't know what spreadable Cheese Whiz on toast is. They have it in a can, and I'm disappointed. And Nutella, I think maybe America has Nutella, but it's definitely not as normal here than it was in Canada. And Tim Hortons, I miss their donuts. I'm like okay with Krispy Kreme, but Tim Hortons is better. And generally healthcare, I was just kind of blown away how having a cold costed me several $100s when I first came to America. So I definitely miss Canada and how like carefree things were in that sense. Next question comes from Sean E. Shannon. Hi Sean. Hi. Future goals for yourself. Future goals for myself. So personal goals or career goals. So personal goals, I'm always trying to get better at casting, be hype, kind of control my voice while I'm hype a little bit better. As a female, sometimes I'll squeak or not sound as nice as like Achilles or Uber when they get super hype. So just learning as much as I can about my casting. That's something I'm very passionate about. And then career-wise, Contenders North America is something I'm going for, or I'd like to do this year. I've done trials and all that, so that would be cool. And maybe like super down the line Overwatch League, but they're all so talented, so maybe I can be there one day. We'll see. And then he had a part 2 question. Best tip you'd give to an up-and-comer in esports? I feel like I wish I was better at this, but the better you are at making friends, the easier it is. Because if you can convince someone to give you a job when maybe you are underqualified or just in general want the job, it'll be an easier time. And also being qualified at the job, so anything you want to do, work at it as much as you can. If it's casting, if it's writing, if it's coaching, putting 100% of your time, if not more, into it. And even working when you're not getting paid shows how much you really care about what you're doing. And oftentimes you will not get paid for stuff, at least at the beginning. So do as much volunteer as you can to get experience, make the right friends, get the right job. The next Next question, oh my god, comes from Esports Doug. Is that a mood ring? Not wearing rings. Okay, so the man's has a ring, a wedding ring that's black and metal, and it honestly looked like one of those mood rings that you get when it changes colors. Like sometimes it goes black when you're super mad or something. Yeah, so I might have been under the influence of alcohol when I asked him if his wedding ring was a mood ring. But that's how I met Doug, and that's how he will remember me always. And then another question comes from another meme question. TY1, thank you. Pingu says, when are you gonna say bruh moment on stream? Yeah, him and his friends taught me the whole that's a bruh moment, and I've only been thankfully casting some pretty good matches in trials right now, so I haven't seen a full-on come on bruh or more like a bruh moment. It hasn't been that bad yet, so. Alright, Geeky Enthusiast with the next question asks, I'm looking for help to further improve my sound setup for video production, podcasts, and possibly casting. Any tips on how to get sound settings correct, or could you recommend sound gurus that you know of? So a lot of your sound quality might come from your microphone itself. So get a really good microphone. If you're using a headset, definitely invest in something better. A headset sounds like you're talking into a can. Yetis are okay if you can turn the gain all the way down and try and hone in on your sound settings. Obviously look up for tips on that. I had a Yeti a while ago and it still didn't sound great until I got my Rode. So this is a Rode NT mic. I think it was a couple $100, but the difference in quality does matter a lot with the actual equipment you're using. I know you can even get more expensive microphones than this, like XLR and the fancy stuff. I'm not a tech person, but once you find the right microphone, then I would suggest getting an audio program. Like I use Voicemeeter, and tuning compression, tuning your sound gate, tuning any sort of sound settings to make your voice sound better, or to overall compress it in the way that you like the best. So kind of going into OBS, recording yourself and tweaking the settings is what I did. And my settings are going to be different than yours because I tweak my settings for a female voice. So I'm going to add more compression and I have a big fan in the background, so I have more sound gates. So once you have the right microphone and Voicemeter, then you can go from there. Good luck. Next question comes from Bradley TV. What is your earliest memory of video games and what got you interested in esports / casting? So my first esport, if you will, was Call of Duty. So I liked first-person shooters. I like shooting stuff, I like killing shit. So I tried competing at one point in college, thought I was probably good enough at the game, / it was too much of a time commitment to scrim all those hours while trying to do full-time school. So we had a group of females that were kind of playing COD and having our own separate tournaments. So I remember back then we wanted to have female casters. So we kind of brought in players that would kind of dink around with casting. It wasn't like a big deal if we were good or not. And I remember liking casting so much because I was really smart at the game, but mechanically and time commitment wise, I couldn't be that great of a player. So I was able to bring my smarts to casting, and I actually casted Call of Duty for several years. And then with like Call of Duty having new games every year, I eventually got tired of it and found Overwatch, and that's how I'm here today. Hey. The next question comes from number 1 2 tree. I don't know what that is. Do you play Overwatch a lot? If so, what rank are you? Yeah, I play Overwatch a lot. Maybe not like 8 hours a day, but I play quick play. I go and find a group. I 6-stack with some people because I usually like to practice comms. I practice different heroes, and I don't like to 130% try hard. And I find ranked that has like a lot more toxic people, and it's a really stressful environment. Because I don't feel like people are there to learn. It's really just to how can we do everything to win, and it's the end of the world if you don't. So occasionally, like I'll duo with someone unranked occasionally, but my peak is probably diamond. I have like a couple hours per season. Like I do my placements, and that's where my ranked career is. So next question is from Necra Gaming. Hi Necra, what is your favorite thing to do in your free time? Oh god. I like rotate hobbies a lot. I just have like hobbies that I'm interested in for a month and then I change. Drawing is something I do on and off. I play games, a lot of games. Fallout, BioShock, Final Fantasy, Red Dead Redemption, Overwatch, other multiplayers. And I also like to dabble with watching people on Twitch. Not like the popular ones. I like to go and find new streamers and interact with them, get to know them, especially in Overwatch. Next question, King Aloha. How do you compare watching Overwatch as a fan / spectator to watching it when you are casting? I definitely see the complaints from other people about how hard Overwatch is to watch. And I think Overwatch is one of those games that you have to know well. You have to have played the game to understand and to be able to watch Overwatch. It's not something a new person can just jump on. It's not like Smash where you get it. It's very simple in concept what is going on your screen. I'm thankful for like the UI changes or the user interface changes that have happened over time. You have like your ultimate and your hero screen. You have a kill feed. The observing has gotten a lot better. We're a lot more free cam so you can see more what is going on. So I definitely see how complicated it can be to watch. But when it comes to casting Overwatch, I think it's probably one of the more difficult games to digest as a caster and then try and diarrhea word out what is going on your screen. Because as much as it's overwhelming for you to watch, it's probably sometimes overwhelming for the caster or the play-by-play to see 12 ultimates on the screen just explode, and then you have to kind of choose one of those things or a few of those things that are important in the maybe minute that you have to talk and explain it in a way that is as simple as possible. So I find it very, very difficult, but also the most enjoyable because I like challenges, and it's taken me a lot of time to figure out what is the most important and what is the most exciting thing to present to the viewers, and I hope that that is translating well during the streams. In the same olive branch of King Aloha's question, how difficult is it to get hyped during casting for play-by-play? I don't find it too difficult. I'm probably one of those people that are almost too hype and always excited during my casts. One, I have a lot of caffeine before my cast, so it kind of just like bursts out of me how excited I am. I also genuinely love the game, and I'll see how awesome these plays are, and I'll have a real appreciation for what's going on. So it isn't difficult for me to get hype. There are like occasions where maybe sometimes I can tell when players aren't trying, or there's a lot of mistakes, or it's just not as good of teams facing off, and you'll probably feel my energy just drop off, and that's when I really wish I could force myself to be more hype. So that can be the most difficult, and that's most difficult, and I have to just force it out and have more caffeine. But I also want to be genuine, so it's a kind of a struggle in those situations. Radio Skeleton asks, what has helped keep you mentally healthy over the years? That's a good question. Having a healthy support system of friends and family, but also making sure that you depend on yourself as much as you can. If always depend on yourself, because your circle of friends, your circle of people will change a lot through the years, and that can be overwhelming for some people to have different friends or different partners and families that come like in and out of your lives. So really try and hone in on how confident and how much you love yourself and how much you depend on yourself and get yourself out of these situations, which for some people is not possible. And for me, that's how I've kind of kept myself healthy, is to not depend as much on others, because when I did, that's when that kind of went. Yes, I got some weeb questions. Cinero W asks, what makes or breaks an anime or story in general for you? What kind of breaks an anime for me is if there's too much fan service. I really dislike unnecessary fan service, or any sort of way they're presenting character in a cheap way for people to like them, such as fan service. I prefer animes that don't have as many filler episodes. If they can just make the story make sense from A to Z. If there's an episode that I can completely take out and it doesn't matter to the story, I hate those kinds of things. And if I'm not hooked by the third episode of an anime, I usually will never watch it again. And I think this happened to me when I started watching No Game No Life, which a lot of people love that anime, but it had like insta fan service like episode 1, and I just like X'd out and thought it was stupid. Toasted Goblin asks, do you do any outdoor sports / activities? Not a whole ton, not a whole lot. I don't work out too much. Occasionally I'll go and do some yoga or Zumba. I find that very relaxing. The yoga part anyway. But yeah, not much of a worker outer. It's VXYZ. What drew you to Overwatch? Well, it's VXYZ. I actually had my partner introduce me to Overwatch because back then I liked first-person shooters like Call of Duty and Overwatch. I was told, hey, well, Soldier 76 is basically Call of Duty. So he was like one of my first heroes that I got into. And I like kind of the diversity of characters you could be. There was tons of female characters you could be. You could be Winston and all kinds of weird animals too. So I thought that was really fun and colorful. And the gameplay and all the different game modes were really fun. So yeah, it was actually someone who introduced me to it. What, Peace Eater? What is your favorite anime and why is it FMA Brotherhood? I wouldn't say a Full Metal is my favorite. It's obviously a high tier one for sure. And I actually wrote a list just because what is your favorite anime is like, who is your favorite child out of the 10 you gave birth to? It's very difficult to pick one anime that just is all of these things. So I kind of sorted it by category. So I have Made in Abyss for best fantasy. Promise Neverland, Erased, and Kakaguri are my favorite dramas. I know, you said one and I gave you already 4. Violet Evergarden is my favorite slice of life. Yuri on Ice, my favorite romance. I know, you might flame me for that, to be honest. Attack on Titan is my favorite action, and Death Parade is my favorite horror. So I probably forgot, and actually Tokyo Ghoul is pretty good too. There's probably some other animes that I've missed that I just forgot that I watched, but that's a pretty good list. So Vowels asks, how did you choose the name LemonKiwi? So I think we all have weird, boring, uncreative stories about our names, but mine has to do with Xbox Live. A million years ago at midnight, I'm trying to make an account and I wanted Strawberry Kiwi. I wanted to be cute. I wanted to be feminine. I wanted to be, maybe I was hungry and it was taken. So I just mixed and matched different fruits until something was not taken, just like everyone does on Xbox Live, and LemonKiwi came out, and I just never changed it. So thankfully it's not super embarrassing. The Skittles Pink asks, hypothetically, Overwatch dies tomorrow. Blizzard pulls the plug, cans everyone, yeets that shit into the abyss. What game do you find compelling and involved enough to get your caster passion next? If Overwatch dies in, I would just yeet myself off a bridge probably, but maybe try and go back to my IRL job like science or something like that. But if not Overwatch, I really like the whole team fights and the MOBA aspect of Overwatch, so maybe I would try League of Legends, but that would just be a huge effort because there's a million heroes and champions and a very established scene, and I would have to learn so many things. But maybe I would give that a shot, but probably not. Thank you guys so much for all your questions for this Q&A. Hope you enjoyed it, and make sure you drop a vote for Team Canada Community Lead. Yours truly for Team Canada, and if you're from elsewhere, there's other amazing people running for all the positions for World Cup. So I will see you guys at BlizzCon.